I'd like to start out just by thanking Tom and the organizers for having me here today and giving me the opportunity to talk to you all. And I'd like to thank you all for coming and being here to listen. So what I'd like to talk about is really opportunity. I'd like to talk about not just problems, and I think that's what we hear a lot about over time, is we hear a lot about the problems we have in the environment and in the economy, and I think we're all too aware of the problems. So when we need to get beyond talking about the problems and start talking about solutions, and the type of solutions which I'm here to talk about are opportunities to deliver more eco-friendly solutions to these problems that we face. So let me see if I can figure out this thing. Okay. So let me start out with this pretty simple diagram of one of the big trends the world is facing. When we talk about trends, that I'm not sure really what's going to happen next week or what the news will hold a year from now. But some trends are so big and so unavoidable that it's pretty easy to see where things are going, and to try to look at the problems that creates and the opportunities that creates as well. So this has got to be one of the biggies, that this is the world's population, where we've been and where we're going. So when I was a kid, the world was about 4 billion people or so, and we thought that was a lot. We thought that was a lot of people. People worried then about how are we going to feed all these people? How are we going to deal with this? And as of 2011, we're going to be hitting 7 billion. So somewhere along the line, we added another 3 billion folks to the world's population, and it's not stopping there. From there, by mid-century or so, we're expected to hit 9 billion. So that's a lot of people, and as it is, even at 7, we're having a massive impact on our world, an unavoidable impact, and that creates lots of challenges. So even just this last week, we've been hearing about the world's food prices have been spiking once again, and last time that happened, there were riots in some countries because this is such an important issue, such a fundamental issue. The price of oil has once again started to rise. So, and all of this is connected to just having so many people on the planet that we share with. And it's not just the number of people, it's how those people are living on the planet. So the old model, at least in the developed world, has been this basically, has been the model of consumption, the consumer economy, saying that we have a planet full of resources, and from this planet, we're going to extract what we need for industrial use. We're going to manufacture things, put them on shelves for people to buy, and when we're done with them, they're going to end up in the landfill or end up as waste. So it's the linear model, the consumption model, and this is a model that has been expanding beyond just the U.S. and the developed world. That with that increase in population, with those 7 billion people, it's not just 7 billion more people. It's many of those people they want stuff. They want our lifestyle. They want the cars. They want the things, and more people are going out and getting them. So it's not just that the people are eating. They're consuming. And sometimes we hear the statistic, which is that if everybody on the planet lived like Americans, that we couldn't make do with one planet, that we would need 3 planets, 5 planets, six planets in order to handle that load. And I don't know if it's 5 or 6 planets, but the point is that we have in our planet, we have a fixed amount of resources which we're dealing with, which we use, and according to the old model, if we keep on going with this trend, with expanding population, with more and more consumers being added to the global pool, that it's hard to see how this can really last. It's hard to see how we can keep on going in that direction. Which I think brings us to this point that here's our planet. We don't have 6 planets. It turns out we've only got 1, and I think it's a pretty good one. It's basically my favorite planet, and I'd like to see us be around for a while, and not just be here, but live a pretty good life for those, a reasonable life, a decent life at least for those 7 billion people, which we're going to have here in 2011, for the 9 billion, a few decades from now. That I think we need to look at the world and think about how we live in a way which assumes that you know, we're not living just for today, that we're going to be around for a while, and our actions mean something. They have an impact in our personal lives and in our professional lives. It creates this opportunity, really. It's, you know, it's like I said, we have lots of problems, and I think those are pretty easy to see, actually, when you look at the big picture of things. And but the good news is there are answers, and it's this new model, which is, you know, moving away from the consumption model towards sustainability. And sustainability means, you know, people define it different ways. But basically, to me, it means just acting and living and doing business as if we're going to be around for the long term. You know, that we are not just going to be around for 2011, that we're going to be here for forever. So, so here we are. This is our planet. Whatever we're going to do here is going to stay here. There's nowhere else it's going to go. There is no away. When we're throwing stuff, you know, we say, I'm going to throw that away. Well, where is away? You know, we're running out of away. There is. It all comes back, it all stays here on that little planet we have there. So it behooves us to think about things that way. Okay, so, you know, we have this problem, we have this fundamental situation we're dealing with, and one response is that we need to think about, is that people telling us what we should do. Telling us that, look, we got these problems, that we need to, that you need to conserve energy, you need to conserve water, you need to stop littering. I think, you know, many of us remember the old public service announcements from the 70s, the crying Indian image. It was a very potent image, I think, and it's kind of emblematic of the early environmental movement here in the U.S. And, you know, the message there was that, you know, you guys are screwing up. You need to clean up your act. You need to do things differently. And it's kind of this big pointing finger. And, you know, and I think that sometimes that can be very effective, especially with the right group of people who are receptive to the message. But, you know, it's not, it only gets us so far, I think. And I think that's where the opportunities come in, is to say, you know, we need to look at these, I think sometimes not just by telling people what they need to do, by talking about what you can do, you know, and talking about, I think that's what this is about. What I'm trying to tell you is that these are not things, I'm just going to sit here and tell you, you know, that you guys need to do things differently, that we have big problems here. I think you know that, but I'm trying to tell you, we've got a big opportunity here. That, you know, given where things are going, and these unavoidable, unescapable, massive trends that we're facing, you know, locally, nationally, globally, that these are opportunities. That if we can just kind of look at the world a little differently.